Global happenings today. We communicate, we analyze global news. Stay tuned.
Hello, great people. Welcome back to Global Happenings. Today, we're so excited to have you again. A few days ago, Labour Party, in response to what President Muhammadu Buhari said, uh, disclosed to him that their mandates were actually being stolen, and that's why they are heading for the court. But shockingly, today the federal government have spoken again. I'm wondering why this unending interest in the elections. Say they said they should go to court. Why are they talking repeatedly and repeatedly, emphasizing on certain areas which already we know that it is in the jurisdiction of the judiciary to tell Nigerians their own interpretation? The duty of judiciary is to interpret the law. But guess what? The federal government, via Lai Mohammed, have spoken this time around, and it's in a very mawkish way. Let's just listen to them, and then we will interpret in details what Lai Mohammed just said. According to the news, the Minister of Information and Culture, Lai Mohammed, has advised the opposition to stop their endless grieving over the 2023 presidential election, which they lost woefully. In a statement he issued on Sunday, Lai Mohammed said President Muhammadu Buhari analysis of the reason for the opposition's loss in the 2023 election was incontrovertible. He said the opposition lost the election because of their overconfidence and complacency. He said the president deserved nothing but accolades for delivering undoubtedly the best election in Nigeria's history, adding that the tempestuous but predictable reactions to the president's comment by the opposition has shown them for what they are, shameless sore losers. President Muhammadu Buhari lived up to his billing by delivering free, fair, and credible elections, and his legacy is assured. The president would rather lose his state and many of his party's stronghold than temper with the fidelity of the election, and that is why he provided a level playing field for all parties. Mohammed claimed that the opposition overconfidence going into the election stemmed in part from the vexary of social media propaganda as well as faulty and procured opinion polls which were meant to hook-wing their foreign backers and a section of the international media into uncritically reporting that they were coasting home to victory when they were indeed heading into the ravine of defeat. The minister said the presidential candidate of the All Progressive Congress APC, Asiwa Bola Ahmed Tinubu, won the presidential election free and square, clinching the majority of the vote cast and surpassing the constitutionally stipulated 25% of vote cast in each of at least two-thirds of all the states in the Federation and the Federal Capital Territory. Going by the result, none of the opposition party met any of the conditions stipulated for winning the presidential election. They didn't even come close in spite of their pre-election grandstanding. The opposition keep leaning on some international observers to justify their fraudulent claim that the election was rigged. They conveniently forgot what Ambassador Johnny Carson, the referred U.S. diplomat who co-led the National Democratic Institute (NDI) and International Republican Institute (IRI) International Election Observation Mission to Nigeria, said that the APC candidate undoubtedly won the polls. They also forgot that the African Union Election Observation Mission to Nigeria said the atmosphere was generally calm and peaceful in 95% of the polling unit visited, adding that it is on the strength of this report that many nations, including the US and the UK, wasted no time in congratulating the victorious APC presidential candidate. Mohammed slammed the opposition for continuously seeking to mislead the world by clutching at the weak straw that results were not immediately uploaded into the IREF portal, as if the portal has any role to play in the collation of results. According to him, he said the opposition insinuation that the failure to immediately upload the result of the presidential election onto IREF affected the credibility of the election is a fraud. It is an act of blackmail and deceit by desperate individuals. The opposition Labour Party, in particular, will go down in the history book as the first ever distant third place finisher in a presidential election, anyway to have boldly claimed victory. Quite interesting. Before we look at what Nigerians have to say, there are a lot of things I have seen in this particular statement made by the person of Lai Mohammed, as the Minister of Information and Culture. And the first is that Lai Mohammed, I'm sorry to say, I don't know if he has background information or background details on um, accounting, or let me not go to accounting, but on processes, because I wonder how, if he's been put in a panel to interview candidates and also employ them, what is the process that he normally employ to do all of that? Now, after the interview, possibly the person must have mentioned his credentials, that these are my credentials. I'm a graduate of agriculture. I'm a graduate of this. I have masters in Toronto. I have masters in Cambridge. I have a PhD holder. And after all of that, the interview, you will call for those things the person said, the documents, to be presented for vetting. On the basis of the vetting, you can now confirm that that person truly attended the school. Why? All of that is to prevent any act of fraud, any act of lying. And Nigerians said the elections were actually free and fair in some parts of the country, but we know that in some parts it was not. But all what we are asking the INEC chairman to have done was to ensure that every of those election results were uploaded on the IREF with the signature of all those who were party agents fully seen there, and also the people will bear testimony that truly that was the result that we had in our polling unit. Then Nigerians can just go to bed and sleep and say it is well done. But up till today, as we are talking, that has not been done. Anybody anyway can just show up. Say it's election now, and I show up and say I have the result of the election. APC 5,000 people were accredited. APC had 4,000 people. PDP had 500 people. LP had 500 people. Anybody can say that. It's not a struggle. But then, what will authenticate the result that has been read out are the source document. Oga, ask yourself that question. Where are the source documents that clearly show that this way the results that we had? Those source document is what Nigerians are calling for, because Nigerians were there when some of those results were being read out. Now, as we are talking currently, IREF, what we have seen in IREF in comparison to the result that INEC wrote, are this vast difference between the two. Imagine if that happened on an international scale. What would you say? What would you say? I mean, for me, these guys are politicians, and being politician, it is sure that they can do things like this and say things like. But first of all, it's important for us to realize that some of the things that we are saying today may end up haunting us tomorrow. Why? Because we have refused to accept the fact that fairness and transparency is important in issues like this. Bola Tinubu have won. Bola Tinubu have won. A man who doesn't even have 1% document for Nigerians. A man who cannot prove himself, to come out and say, this were the places, this is my age, these are the things I have in place and all of that. He can't even show any of them. Okay, the election has just been concluded. Show us how everything was done, detailing with documents to back it up. Story. And on the issue of saying 95% peace and all of that, that was a big lie, because we saw what happened in Rivers State, we saw what happened in Lagos State, how people were beaten blue black. Some people were being stripped of the privilege of voting. Someone stood out in Lagos and said, if you are an Igbo person, you are coming to vote here, you will not dare come close. That was trampling on someone's fundamental human right. For me, I feel that the federal government should just shut down, forget about whatever they are saying. Let us allow the judiciary have a fair hand in this ruling. Let them look at things and consider the opinions of the parties that have dragged this into the court, and then we will now draw a conclusion from there. I like to leave it there. You have much to say. Let's meet in our comment section. Do you think that all of this is a step towards intimidating the Labour Party presidential aspirant and also Atiku Abubakar?